I did a complete overhaul of my desk setup starting from scratch, and boy, I do have a lot to share with you all. So let me tell you all about it. If you've been keeping up with my channel, you know I recently had to switch up my workspace and office. I used to occupy a spare bedroom at the house, but I had to give it up for my brother. So I packed up everything and decided that it was actually a perfect opportunity to create the ultimate dream ultra-wide desk setup. Now, one big change I made was swapping out my iMac for my MacBook Pro. But with that came the challenge of managing all those cables because I was going to use a monitor. And let me tell you, cable management became my new favorite hobby. It was almost like solving a moving puzzle because I didn't want any cables to show on this setup, and I definitely didn't want to drill through my desk, but I also wanted the setup to be able to grow as I add peripherals or remove some. So for all future updates on how this develops, make sure you subscribe so you get notified when I drop the next video. And I know how expensive it is to build a setup, so none of this will be possible by the help of the brands that send me products along the way and the support of this channel. So for that, I truly appreciate it. To kick things off, I gave the office a makeover. It used to be actually used as a storage room, believe it or not. This time I painted all walls black and replaced the baseboards because the original were just hideous. And don't worry, I'm gonna do a more detailed video on the Batcave once it's completed, so stay tuned. So to complement the setup, our friends at the Wood Veneer Hub send me their panels that I'm sure you've seen it on other setups and all over the internet by this point. So I went with the American walnut with oil finish, and the best thing is that they not only dress up the space but also serve as acoustic panels because of the thick felt that they have on the back. I actually took a break from working on these panels because even though they look really nice, I don't like the idea of just slapping them all over the wall and pretty much just let them do the talking. I like to be creative, so I'm thinking of ways on how can I incorporate this in the setup, of course, to make it more creative. But so far, the idea that came to mind, if I do what I'm thinking, I'm gonna have to cut a lot of panels. It's gonna be a lot of geometry, not even to talk about there's like a raceway that I have right here on the bottom, and I need to take everything into account, and I need to buy lights. And I don't think they're gonna get here on time because this video is supposed to drop in about a week from now. This is the Saturday before the video drops, so I'm stressed out and the office is a mess. I actually took some time to put this together, which is gonna go right here. So yeah, I am just going through it right now. And don't get me wrong, I'm super grateful because Wood Veneer did a solid to send all these freaking panels, and they look amazing, but I want to be more creative. That's what I'm going through right now. Just trying to make this more creative. With setups, things cost a lot of money. With setups, I don't like the idea to just throw money at the problem. I want to bring a little bit more. So I need to clean up this office with this thing in place and probably just focus on that because most likely this is a project for tomorrow morning. And in the morning, I decided to just place the panels on the wall and not go for the big cutouts I was thinking about. Because like I said, it was not only going to take more time to do it, so I had the idea of not actually filling the entire wall and still leaving some space for some shelvings to hold some of my lenses and other decors. And on the other side, I ran a Govee rope light just to kind of break off the wall and install some shelving with some greenery. Maybe I could do something different in the future, but so far I like it and it adds to the acoustic treatment of this room, which happens to be a big problem. Since I needed to cut an inch off of these panels, I simply grabbed the jigsaw and took off exactly 1 inch by the help of a track saw to help me make a clean cut. Once done, all I did was sand the edges a little bit and it was ready for install. You can use adhesive or screws or anything available for you to attach the wall because they're actually pretty simple to install. So I decided to go with screws because I do want to be able to move this without leaving excess wall damage. Now, talking about the desk itself, I've been using this 6-foot Ikea butcher block for a year now. Initially, I chipped out by not going the walnut version when I went to buy it because I wanted to save some money, but big mistake. The desk started looking more and more yellow on pictures. Not a banana yellow, but you get the picture. So I decided to restain it. I ended up using 3 different sets of grits, 80 grit to remove, 120 to smooth it out, and 220 to finish the surface. Then I applied a combination of gunstock and walnut stains to give me some deep rich browns and reds to contrast with the rest of the setup. For the legs, I am still using the Top Sky legs from Amazon that I got less than a year ago actually, and they've been a game changer so far. It's got dual motors and 3-stage preset positions, which makes switching between sitting and standing a breeze. And the motors are fairly quiet, so I use the number 1 position for where I'm sitting, number 2 when I'm standing, and number 3 to do some cable work under the hood. So because this office has hardwood floors, casters were a must on this one. And I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of those plastic casters that are out there, so I found these rubber options on Amazon that help the desk slide smoothly without those annoying sounds and dragging dirt from around the room. So I'm gonna put the link to these casters in the description below and the links to anything else that I mentioned on this video. And just a disclaimer, those are affiliate links, so if you purchase anything through them, I will be getting a kickback at no additional cost to you. So thank you for your support in advance. Oh, and by the way, don't forget to look out for promo codes in the description as well. Okay, moving on to the cable management. Listen guys, finding a comprehensive guide on this stuff is like searching for a needle in a haystack. Even though there are a lot of desk setup videos on YouTube and the internet, it was almost impossible to find a complete guide to work for my setup. So I took matters into my own hands and created this bulletproof system that lets me add and remove peripherals at will without compromising the aesthetics, drilling, or having cables hung. So let me give you a tour to show you how that looks like. So let me bring in FPV mode and show you how this thing works. All I have is 2 cables coming from the wall, which one belongs to this subwoofer and one from the power strip or surge protector. So for me to work behind the desk, all I do is I kick these rubber casters right here and I swing this desk around. So let me actually do this with 2 hands. So chill out for a second while I swing this out by simply doing this number. Okay, as you guys can see, all I did was pull the desk from the wall from that side and the cable is nice on the wall. Okay, from the back of the desk, let's start on the monitor. Everything, I made it go through this intersection right here, going through the Vivo arm and coming all the way down here. This is how it looks like on the back of the call digit. I hope it's not as dark. And this is the audio interface. But the magic happens right here. So this is my cable management system right here. My secret weapon is this guy right over here, which is a server rack. So all I have as far as power is this guy right here. This is the surge protector. What I have connected with the surge protector, I have the monitor right here, I have the call digit, I have my speakers, and I have these 2 guys, which are my absolute secret weapon. This is a charging station that takes only USB-C and it has 1 USB-A. And this guy only takes USB-A. This is why I don't overload my docking station and I have plenty of power on top of my desk. So any extra slack on cables, I have them right here inside of this server rack. Everything else is tucked in by these clips right here with some Velcro also to the bottom of them. And for heavier guys like this, I have this Velcro strip bolted actually to the bottom of the desk. This is why it was so much fun for me, because I had to discover these charging stations in this server rack, a larger server rack versus what I used in the past, to not only tuck away cables but take power to the desk without coming from the dock or me using bulky chargers right up here. I hope I didn't flush through this way too fast for you. If you would like, I could do a dedicated video just on my cable management, but as you guys can see, I have power for the iPad, I have power for the Loopdeck, I have power for the TimesGate, which I didn't talk about in the video. So this is the TimesGate by Devon, is a really dope device, and I have power for things like this. So I can always add or remove devices when I want. So if you want a dedicated video on this, let me know and I'll shoot it for you. So at the heart of the setup is the Balolo cockpit with the Balolo system. Balolo was super kind to send this over to me along with many accessories, and I think it was the perfect desk shelf system for this setup because of its customizability. And for those of you that are not familiar with Balolo and the setup cockpit, it's a modular shelf with a grid on the bottom of it that can be customized to fit your personal style and adjust as your needs change. The accessories are mounted to the mounting grid and give you a convenient way to have your iPhone MagSafe holder as well as your Apple charger holder and headphones while saving on desk real estate, which was very important for me. And that's exactly what's on this setup. But Balolo also sent their felt desk mat that is a higher quality than what I used before, with rubber grips on the bottom so it doesn't slide around. But since desk mounts typically catch at the bottom of my mouse, I'm hunting for a leather mouse pad, so if you have any recommendations, put in the comments below. And their laptop holder was perfect for my MacBook Pro with the Balolo logo on it, and I placed it right in front of the Vivo monitor arm to give the monitor a floating look. Their large tray is perfect to have items on your desk while promoting a functional space and organization along with Balolo's catch-all tray. And what I love the most is the iPad holder that lets me rest my iPad right below the monitor, serving as a second screen. And talking about screen, let me address the elephant in the room and talk about this ultra-wide monitor. When planning for this setup, I decided I didn't want two monitors side by side, so I opted for the 49 Samsung Odyssey G9 Oled, which has a quad dual high definition resolution. It's equipped with Neo Quantum Processor Pro with 240 Hz of refresh rate and 0.03 milliseconds response time for crazy fast gameplay. Although sometimes I do plug my PS4 to game with this monitor, I feel like I underutilize it a lot because it's mainly a gaming monitor and I don't use it like one. But another reason that made me buy this monitor is even though it's so freaking expensive, the fact is that coming from an iMac with 5K display, I wanted to make sure I had a similar type of screen quality because of the content I create and the client work I do. And I heard all the chatters on the internet about this monitor not working properly, especially connecting with Macs. And I experienced some of those issues as well. But I did find some suggestions, but still had those issues either when using a 60 Hz or 120 Hz. Then I figured out that it was due to the Ugrain docking station that I was using with DisplayPort technology. I was super lucky to have CalDigit send over their TS4, and to be very upfront with you guys, they didn't even want me to make a video about it, just wanted me to use it. Of course, I know they hope that I still put in a video, so there you go. Because this freaking thing solved my problem, man. Because the TS4 supports Thunderbolt 4 connections. Once I plugged the monitor to the Mac, it fixed all the problems, and I'm even able to use 120 refresh rate on the regular. But on a daily basis, just because I use the monitor mostly for productivity, I keep it at 60 Hz because I don't need the extra refresh rate anyways unless I'm editing. Yeah, so now I totally understand the hype behind this dock, and this dock is freaking amazing. It has 18 ports and brings 98 watts of power that keeps my MacBook Pro always charged, and it supports 8K displays as well as dual displays at 2.5 gigabits. And on the front, you have more room for USB-A's and USB-C data ports, as well as SD cards and micro SD inputs for when you want to bring in footage or content. So shout out to CalDigit for doing me a solid on this one. You saved my experience with this monitor. So right above the monitor, I have the screen bar halo by BenQ. Even though this bar is not cheap, it serves a very important function besides having a much softer light compared to other bars that I've used in the past, and of course having a very high quality build and a controller. Again, what sets this bar apart in my opinion is the fact that it has a flat top that allows you to place almost any webcam of your choice, and that's where the Tiny Tool by Obsbot comes in. So shout out to Obsbot for sponsoring this portion of this video, but I gotta say that even though they sent it to me, I am entitled to my own opinion. So this is an AI powered webcam with a gimbal, very similar to an Insta360 Link webcam when it comes to design. So when I got it, I was blown away by the functionalities, and even on conference calls, others were impressed by the sensor's quality. And it's mainly because it's got dual native ISO and a great performance in low light. Even compared with other 4K webcams, it doesn't even come close. It's got an AI facial tracking, so you can always stay in the center while attending a conference call, which you can enable and disable by simply raising your hand. And with the autofocus function, you can zoom in and zoom out using gestures, and with both hands it kind of helps you reframe yourself so that you're not all the way zoomed out or all the way zoomed in, so you can set just the right amount of zoom. It also has a beauty mode which kind of removes blemishes in your skin and brightens your eyes, so it makes you look more appealing during calls. And for some hands-free controls, you can turn it on by simply saying "Hi Tiny," or you can turn it off by saying "Sleep Tiny." And I thought it was super dope the fact that it faces down when not in use for some privacy. So you can use this camera in desk mode, Magic Gesture Controls 2.0, and whiteboard mode. So check it out in the description below along with some discount codes. So moving on to the side of the setup, I'm using the PreSonus Aries 3.5 Bluetooth speakers sitting on Balolo stands, and I paired them with the 8-inch subwoofer, which are both connected to the Evo 4 audio interface. This combo is perfect not only for content creation and video editing, but especially to enjoy music as studio monitor. The speakers deliver a very clean and clear high frequency, and the bass is deep and fat, giving you an incredible music experience. So on the daily, when I'm creating or simply working, it's very fun to vibe in a bat cave with this setup. And for audio input, I'm using the Fifine XLR microphone, which also happens to be USB, but I use it in an XLR configuration, which I have it on a tall IX stack boom arm that can pretty much reach anywhere on the desk. And to give my recordings a boost, instead of using the regular cloud lifter that we see out there, which was not only gonna demand more space in a setup but introduce an extra cable, I decided to use a Fathead Phantom inline preamp, which does the same thing as a cloud lifter, and the only difference is you connect it to the end of your cable just before it reaches your interface. And that's the exact audio you're hearing right now, so let me know in the comments below how does this sound. Now, as for peripherals, I'm using the Mojo 84 mechanical keyboard by Melgeek in transparent orange with black keycaps and TTC Frozen Silent switches. On the side, I have the numpad with Cahill box plastic switches and white keycaps, which I might change in the near future. And when I got this, I was shocked that it said plastic so much, and I was like, did Melgeek forget that they were building a keyboard that is actually made out of plastic? But it's actually more fun than that, so check this out. It's programmable, lag-free, aesthetic, stylish, transparent, innovative, and comfortable. This is actually a really fun way of including acronyms in keyboard. And this guy, of course, will be really dope in black, but they ran out. So I'm actually excited to see if they can release some new keycaps with this. And these guys are hub swappable, so you can pretty much customize your switches. They actually sent me some blue switches because they're a little bit more tactile, but it's just too clicky for me. So I'm actually hunting for new switches to go with this bad boy. And you can pretty much pair this with 8 different devices, which is crazy because different keyboards, actually they program mostly with 3 devices. Yeah, so this guy's phenomenal. So in case you're wondering, there you go. That's why this is plastic. So cool. And this, guys, is the quietest keyboard I've ever used. So check this out. So for ergonometry, I replaced my smaller wooden pad for a larger one to fit the keyboard and the numpad. Right next to it is the king of productivity mouses in my opinion, the MX3S for Mac, and I have it in black, and this mouse is simply a beast. It has a lot of customizable buttons, and not only that, it's customizable per app that you're currently using. So that actually gives me a lot of functionality and speeds up my work. And right in front of it, I have my latest addition to the space, which is the Loopdeck Live S, which is an all-in-one interface for productivity, but mainly for streaming. It's got 4 RGB customizable buttons with 2 analog dials that also serve as buttons, and a screen grid of 3x5 haptic buttons, which lets you swipe, giving you access to even more customizable buttons. This thing is great for launching apps very fast, turn on and off lights, and custom functions for when I'm editing. And this thing will be perfect for when I begin streaming. If you guys are interested in seeing some of my streams playing GTA or Tekken Online, it would be great to switch camera angles, turn on and off lights, or even just adjust audio itself. So since I just added to the desk, I'm super excited to actually play with this a little bit more and program new commands that are going to help me perform some tasks even faster. And talking about accessories, guys, this is one of the favorite things I have on my desk. This is called the Plaud Knot. What this thing is, guys, is a ChatGPT empowered AI voice recorder. Known for its slim and portable design, it features quick recording capabilities activated by a physical button for when you want to record on the device, and by a simple flip of a switch, you can enable the phone recording, which you can use this leather provided pouch to slip in a Plaud, and with MagSafe, stick it to the back of your phone and start recording your calls. So, and how this happens, it enables a vibration conduction sensor that captures the internal phone sounds very accurately, making very convenient for you to capture audio, either if you're on a phone call or simply you just want to take a quick voice note. So it's great for meetings. I personally use it a lot from when I'm meeting with clients, and my favorite, creating content. So once you're done recording either through your phone or simply on the device, inside the app it starts to upload your recording via cloud, and once that is done, it lets you transcribe your entire recording, which this comes with free 3 months of Plaud membership. But it's not a big deal if you use this a lot like I do for content creation. $9 a month, it serves me very well because that's how I actually use to script all my videos. But this thing doesn't stop there. Using ChatGPT, right after your transcription, it summarizes your entire recording, whether it was a classroom note, it was lectures, meeting, or your script, and gives you bulleted points based on the content inside of your recording. I was super blown away by this because it gives me dates to book next meetings and follow-ups with clients, and I mind map. So for somebody that's always scripting for videos or meeting with clients, I think it's an easy to tell why is this one of my favorite things on my desk setup. And they sent it to me when they were in Kickstarter mode, and they launched it, I believe, I want to say about a month ago, and I've been using this thing for nearly 3 months. I couldn't share with you guys, I can now. So it's really dope. I'd say if you take calls that need to be recorded and you need to remember things or even create content, this, guys, is a cheat code. So I'm gonna put this in the description below along with any discount codes, so go check it out. So around the desk, I have a few more catch trays to hold the monitor remote and my Batman box cutter, as well as my wallet. And on the other side is the note-taking pad by Mind Design, which is great for having undated pads but still give you the ability to check tasks off. To the side is the pen holder by Balolu and a mushroom desk lamp right behind it, just for some additional ambient light. For the chair, I am still using my Clatina mallet in fabric. If you haven't watched my full video breaking down this chair, I suggest you go check it out. But basically, it has multiple positions that you can set the recliner to, and I can adjust the seat cushion front and back while having customizable arms. And right at the bottom of the desk, I have a foot rocker by Human Scale, which is height adjustable to help me stay in a better sitting posture, because raising your feet helps relieve tension in your lower back actually while sitting, and I am guilty to having bad posture sometimes by slouching on a chair. So right above the setup are my new wall prints. If you follow me, you know I love to customize and make my own wall art. So these are available in the description below as a print file, which I'll make it for free for the first 50 people to download it. And by now it should be obvious that Batman is my #1 hero, and Luffy because he's my #1 anime, and I threw in Tanjiro in there because of just being a badass in one of the most recent exciting anime shows, Demon Slayer. Yeah, I know I'm a kid, I love anime. Okay, to the left of the setup is mainly where I play my PS5 and Tekken Online, and to the opposite side of the room is a wall shelf. And just in case you guys were wondering why is it in white and I haven't blacked it out yet, it's because this house is a rental and I'm not allowed to touch it. So the best thing I could do is place some of the things I like and use it as storage, like the Monkey D. Luffy hat up there, and a hookah to vibe with friends on the weekends or for when I'm done working. I also picked up this Ikea media unit for storage because it was lacking in this office, especially with brands sending more products. I'm in need of space and storage and keeping cables organized, because having all these stacked cables must stay organized now while I can, because I have a feeling it's only gonna get worse from here on out. but this is something I'm going to feature in a more detail in the office tour. And to bring it all together is lighting, of course, which I'm going to make a dedicated video about. So I went all around with a Govee lineup, starting with the M1 strip that is attached to the back of the desk. This time I didn't mount any LED strips to the bottom of the desk because once you do that, it was very hard to mount anything else on the edge of your desk without damaging the LED lights. And on the back of the monitor, I have the same monitor backlights as I did before, as well as an additional strip because being an ultra-wide monitor, it requires a little bit more light than my iMac. And to give it a finishing touch, like I mentioned before, I added Govee rope lights to the walls, which fit perfectly between those gaps on those panels. And guys, this video is not even sponsored by Govee or anything, but I'm going to say that Govee has come a really long way and they truly upped their game when it comes to better quality LED light strips that, in my opinion, is giving Philips Hue lights a run for their money. Yeah, but besides the Govee apps, I do use my Alexa to keep the Batcave lights on check by turning them on and off with voice control. But there you go, guys. This is my desk setup. Just know that this wasn't done in a day. It's a process that's been happening for almost over a year, and I had a lot of support from the brands. I hope this inspired you to actually go and build your desk setup in the best way possible and always keep improving. So with that, again, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you guys next time. Peace.